Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it is a wonderful time to stand before the congregation like this. It is also my first time to attend the wonderful conference like this. It's an international conference. Yeah, I want to express a little bit about encouraging stressed people with full of love and releasing humanity in African communities. I want to stick in African communities, though many people of the world are exploited and oppressed. Why do I express in the African community about humiliation? As we know, our network of human dignity is to make the people to come together over the world and to dignify everybody over the world. Why do we encourage stressed people in our societies? There are some causes which lead to stress people over the world, especially in the African countries. Let me say that there is a saying in our country, from my tribe where I come from. They normally say, Ngosha konunha kuwaliaga. Sukuma language. Ngosha konunha kuwaliaga. It means that the man smells what has he eaten. This saying was being used by old men, especially who control their families in Skumaland, in Tanzania. And this saying normally oppress and exploit women. They mean that women are not allowed to speak anything before men. Men have power to say anything in the family. They take this parable using food, like a figurative language. That if a person take in good, delicious food. So the previous year, they could wash up their hands. Once completed eating, they walked without washing their hands, so as they can everyone can sense or feel the smell. They use this parable to oppress and exploit women. Why do I say this? In African countries, the majority are exploited and humiliated through different aspects, especially negative aspects and negative attitudes. There are some causes which lead to stress people through much problem over the world, especially in African countries. There are, although my fellow representatives, they have spoken, let me talk a little bit. Traditional beliefs in the African countries is a humiliation. Women, girls, and men are humiliated. For example, in Tanzania, young girls are circumcised. Young girls and children, I mean genital mutilation for female. Do this when girls grown up. They are isolated. They do not get married in our society. Not only in Tanzania, even in Uganda, even in other countries, Western African countries, girls are isolated because of traditional beliefs. Also, in traditional beliefs, women are humiliated. They are not allowed to speak anything before men, especially uneducated women. They are no longer fit, even though they have wonderful thoughts or great thoughts to change their families, to change their communities, but they feel inferiority. They cannot do anything and bring betterment in their families. This is the humiliation. Also, another cause which humiliates African countries corruption. In the African continent, some countries, corruption humiliates people, especially who are not on position, and it leads to unemployment, corruption. Few people accumulate the public fund for their own interest, whereby the majority of the people in the African countries remain in problems. This we can term as a humiliation, because people complete their higher learning studies, diploma, secondary schools, they have no job. And the nepotism in the African continent and the other countries over the world, nepotism is a huge problem which leads to humiliate the majority. Even in position, they try to look people who are in relation. They give their position. This is my relative. You just come. You just come. They are giving it themselves. This is the humiliation. As we people who are moving with human dignity, we have to eradicate this much problem all over the world, not only in the African countries. Also, lack of education. Let me say, if you could come by bus, those foreigners, if you could come by bus, you could wonder our African environment, especially in schools, and especially people who live in a village. They live livelihood. Why do I say lack of education is humiliation? Children, they desire or they admire to go to school, but problem is the government, police. They do not care children. The African countries and some Asian countries, children are not taken to school because of poverty, because of ignorance, because of women divorced, because of HIV. When parents passed away, children remained at home. This is a humiliation. How can we dignify children all over the world as we people who move with human dignity? Yes. How can we eradicate it? Ernest, can you tell us lack of education all over the world, not in African countries. Or do you say something?
This is true because when you look most of Africans or traditions, they have their tradition, belief, or culture values that like hatred from their elders. So if they are not getting education, they try to maintain and they maintain their culture, which are very discriminating, or those are very segregating the society, such as women. For example, my tribe have a kind of segregation, like women have nothing to say to the men. So the one who's supposed to talk is just the men, and if they are expecting much, other things like even the time of food, there's food taboos that there are certain foods that are allowed to be eaten just for men, but women are allowed to not supposed to be eaten, such as meat. So when they have the meat, you just want for men. You are a woman, you must cook and then you leave the place. So on this way, this can will continue, then will make them to segregate them, or there will be humiliation among them. So until they get education, then they try to brain to know that food like meat has a benefit of have a balanced diet. When I eat the meat, I can gain a balanced diet. So education is so important for them, will increase or will enable them to have this status of human dignity.
Thank you. Anybody who want to add more?
I think there are some progress as regards some countries, as Rwanda, for instance, in the domain of education policy. We made tremendous progress. So let us avoid maybe generalizing what is maybe specific cases as compared to the situation in Africa. I think.
You want to highlight that Africa is a very diverse place.
Diverse places. We may moderate our statements about Africa. There are so many Africans. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
But also, I think there are very many good well-intentioned educational policies that may not be implemented. Okay. So it is often a matter of implementation. So the ideas would be there, and education for all, and then goals and all that is in place. But how to practice what you preach is a problem, of course. And you're mentioning some of the causes maybe why that is not done as well as it could be if there were no corruption and even women were allowed to participate more than they are, and nepotism was dealt with. So I think maybe changing from above and from below at the same time is a very important thing. I call it synchronism, so that the policies and the interactions, they meet, and therefore the change comes along. But changing only from above or only from below is more difficult.
Oh, thank you.
But anyway, there exists even now discriminatory practices which hamper the progress of the human.
But in Rwanda, you have done a big intervention.
Yes. So
there's another question. I think it depends on what kind of society we're talking. Because if it's a very rigid, hierarchical society, it'd be much more difficult to start from bottom up. You must start with the top, and then it will be easier to bring down. The more the society is more open, liberal, ready for pluralism, for criticism, then I think there are more chances for success if you start going from bottom up.
Okay. Thank you. Also, let's come up with a solution of which can encourage stress the people in our communities, especially over the world, as we people who move with humanity dignity network all over the world, we have to come up with solution so as to rehabilitate our societies, so as to restore our societies, so as to make a transformation all over the world. We have to come up with a solution which can touch the people all over the world through dignity.
Hallelujah.
Oh.
We have to be with our heart on that, like he is.
Yeah. Why do I feel strong? Why do I have strong feeling concerning human dignity? This is my life, and touch all over my life till I die. I have to establish and extend this network all over the world, because it is my life and it has happened human humiliation. That's why I denied humiliation. We have to come up with solution and strategic plans on how to reach those people who do not understand about human dignity. Let's see now some few points, and some of them you have mentioned there. Encouraging stressed people with full of love. Do you know love is a part of human dignity? When you love somebody, it means that you can restore him or her, you can rehabilitate, you can change his or her minds, as we see in Rwanda.
You know, I've been thinking a lot about the connection between love and dignity. It seems to me that if you love somebody, it's clear that you dignify him.
Yes.
The question is, people that you don't love, you can't love everybody. Love is something that comes from the heart. And there are people who I don't love, but I still have to dignify them. I think that this is some distinction.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know how to say what just to add something more. That the African communities
Yes.
own African culture. And if you deeply look at African culture, it is humiliating,
Yes.
but it maintains the dignity. You talked about female mutilation. I'm taking up that study seriously. The world over has come up and said female mutilation is something bad. Right? But when you go to Karamoja, in the far east of Uganda, where the law is very serious, the mothers are taking their children across to Kenya, where the law is not very tough. So that's true. Now, it is humiliating, government says, but the culture wants it maintained. And actually, the reporter always goes, our culture is gone, our culture is gone. But at the same time, on this side of the coin, we seem not to want to help culture. That's just an observation I wanted to.
Okay, thank you for your reasonable question. Human dignity? Yes?
Something connected to what I just said.
Okay.
The culture or the intention for that mutilation is to bring the girl child to woman. So that one can be done without humiliating the girl. So if it is the culture that is to be maintained, it can be maintained without humiliating the girl. The girl can be brought from girlhood to humanhood to womanhood without mutilating her. In addition to maintaining the culture, the mutilation has consequences, physical, emotional, social, to the girl. So while the mother, in their generation, for example, to give the practical part of it, the men had to force them to have sex and so on and so forth. In this generation, if their children go to school and they begin to make some decisions for themselves, they are not going to get married to men who are going to force them to have sex when they're grown. Yeah. And when you are mutilated, it is very difficult to enjoy sex because you are supposed to protect you from having several men and wait for that man. So that today does not exactly work. So the culture itself, if it is to be maintained, protected, the intention for that mutilation was to have dignified girls who don't go around with men and so on. But still, the girls themselves or the women themselves, when they got married, they had a problem. Because then, in fact, for some of them, they died during the mutilation because of a lot of bleeding. And maybe the percentages are small, but today we live also in an age of AIDS, where the same knife cannot cut this and cut the other, without transferring the disease. So there are so many issues that have come up that these women who are taking their children to Kenya need education, which is respectful, to appreciate the fact that your culture needs to be maintained. What is the reason or purpose why you are mutilating the girls? And then, are there other ways that we can graduate our girls to womanhood without doing this and this? And then bring some of the examples from other places, because it has been done in Sebei, in Uganda. And now the elders are the ones going around, training those who are trying to insist on that so-called culture, to show the positive, negative things that can come out of something like that. So culture is also not constant, stagnant. It is something that evolves. So it's not like that we are going to die and kill each other.
Yeah, I hope that you have satisfied. Yeah, thank you. So, do you know human dignity does not deal with good culture. It deals with bad things all over the world to change to bring together the people so as they can love each other. Let me have a real example here in Rwanda. Do you know love played a great role to bring the Rwandese together? If it could, hatred, even the peace which we see now, it couldn't happen. Love has brought the people of Rwanda to sit together, to unite them, because they love each other. Before that, they were not loving each other because they were enemy. In the enemy there is hatred. That's why we insist to play or to work with love as we human who work with this networking. Love can eradicate humiliation in our community, and love can encourage those people who are stressed by various problems, especially as we have seen that in 2008 in USA, it happened the economic crisis. Some liberalists,
What's that?
like my fellow participant here, has come up with macro credit. They play a big role in USA to rehabilitate the United States economy. People were suffering from economic problems. People were tortured. As Dr. Evelyn said, that people were selling their house because because they hadn't money. So love can bring changes and can eradicate conflict in our society. Love can make reconciliation. Love can change your mind. For example, we are here together. We have sit together because of love. Mr. Uli. You know, do you see him? He is laughing because of love. Here now there is no humiliation because of love. There is no humiliation because of love. Also, giving knowledge. I can't talk about honestly about giving knowledge because you have talked about education, how to impart education in our communities. And what about humanity? As a part of humanity, human. Yes. Oh, Professor Magnus, would you tell us the difference between humanity and human dignity? Is there any difference from?
Difference between humanity and human dignity?
Yes.
I think you have to ask Evelyn.
Play it safe.
Open up for the
source of wisdom. The source of wisdom.
You are the source of
I think they are the same.
Yes, the same.
The
Humanity,
fountain of wisdom.
Yeah.
humanity is filled with human dignity.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, humanity also carries with it a lot of evils.
Yeah.
Which is not dignity, something else. But still, the basis of humanity is not dignity.
Yeah, you could say it.
I even thought I saw some of that on the sheets of paper back there, that this point was made. That the dignity is a central part, central quality of humanity.
Yeah.
This is correct.
Yeah.
Because I think that humanity is an example for dignity. You are right on that.
In my opinion, humanity is the understanding that we are not excellent. We are not excellent.
Excellent.
We are not excellent. Humanity is the simultaneously humble. I'm not excellent. I miss things, and the other can give me part that I miss.
So actually, you could say that humanity also is inclusive of what is not dignity, sometimes.
Yes, but
We are not excellent.
yes, I'm not excellent.
I have a different.
I'm not excellent.
I have a different.
You are. What do you mean you're not excellent? You are very excellent.
It's my education.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, what I wanted to explain.
Okay. Yes.
Normally, when we say that we are one in our humanity, and we are one embedded in the one that created everything. You know, that's we the believers. We think that we are part of the one that has created everything. Normally, when we know that we are one, that should create all the foundations for love and human dignity, respect, etc. Because we are one. There is no point of fighting each other when we are one. We are the brothers and sisters of one, of the one. Okay? So the question we should ask ourselves, what happens? Why does it sometimes that people start fighting and hating each other? What did happen? What's wrong? What went wrong?
I have an answer.
Yes.
In your statement, there is something that you are not taking. There is the elephant that you in the room that you don't want to see. In the people that a human it concludes hatred. Hatred.
By nature.
By nature, and they have to deal with this. I have to deal with my envy, jealous, many kinds of not beautiful things, and I have to be responsible for this and to deal with this. This is culture, in my opinion. It is the difference between a person, a man, and an animal. I have this place in my brain, and I can
make to think and to make a discussion with myself, inside myself, and to monitor my behavior.
I want to say something about the elephant.
May I make a meta suggestion before you say that? Sorry for interrupting. You have, unfortunately, I could not follow everything, but I think you have led us into a new discussion which is almost the summing up of the deepest questions which are related to this conference, and maybe we can just directly go over to a final round of statements we want to do and discuss these things, and you just take part of that as we all, and we then go into not stop this discussion. I think we are really, thanks to your help, arriving at very basic questions. We will not solve today, but we should have the opportunity to talk about it a little bit. And if you have any other special points which are not related to that discussion, I would invite you to say it very shortly, because time is now advanced. But if you are happy with what you achieved here, then we just go on and we sit all together. And we thank you very much for leading us into that.
Thank
Could
you
you
very much.
briefly say the time frame? How much time do we still
We ask the participants now because it's 4 o'clock. Now, normally, according to your time schedule, which you have designed, we should now reach more or less soon the end, maybe half an hour or so, but we need to have a final round.
Yeah.
So not being abruptly going after his
Avi
moderation.
is still coming. The Avi is still on
Avi has
schedule.
not had his presentation, so we need to do that.
We need to
Before
do
we
that
have
too.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so
Final
Don't
document.
worry, as said Henry VIII to each one of his wives, I won't keep you long.
is that okay? And we move forward to
Yes. Okay, let me finalize by saying this. As we people who move with human dignity, we have to console people. The word consolation inspired me to work with my vision, helping people with special needs and children who come from extremely poor family in Tanzania. And my vision is to reach the world through consolation and dignifying the people. It doesn't matter, people with disabilities and orphans and other people who have no job, we have to console through creating job opportunity to eradicate humiliation and stress in their minds. Thank you.